What is up, my friends? We have done it. We have gotten through the international break, and now delighted to say you are joining me for our Manchester City preview. It's been a long couple of weeks, but we can finally look ahead to 12:30 at the Etihad. The Reds travel to take on Manchester City in a, dare I say it, season-defining game. I'm going to do what I always do, go through, give you guys my score prediction and my starting 11 prediction ahead of the game. As always, asking you guys to let us know your thoughts in the comment section. To the best of my knowledge, Liverpool have no new injury concerns ahead of this one. The guys in South America played their games last night and I'm not aware of any injuries there. So it looks like we are pretty good to go. Now, of course, I've got to caveat my team selection here by saying until we hear from Jurgen Klopp later in the week, this may change a little, but as the information to hand right now, I'm going to give you my predicted 11 and score predictions, but we will give you an update later on in the week when Jurgen Klopp does do his pre-match press conference. So, heading into this one, what do we know? Well, we know that Chris Kavanagh will be the referee in charge of the game. Liverpool have a decent record with Mr. Kavanagh. I think it's 15 games he's refereed with us, 13 victories, 2 losses. Manchester City, I believe, is 8 games with Chris Kavanagh, 5 victories, 2 draws, 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken. So, no clear favouritism. I believe he is from Greater Manchester, but I don't think that plays into it. So that's what we know about the referee. The manager as well, of course, we'll wait for their press conferences, but Manchester City have had some, I use the term injuries very loosely here, but the likes of Haaland, Ederson, Rodri have all been questionable, but I believe they will all return, particularly Rodri and Haaland. So let's wait and see what that has in store. From Liverpool's perspective, well, we need to know a couple of things from Jurgen. We need to know how far away Stefan Bajcetic is, how far away Thiago Alcantara is. Is Canada going to be available? Curtis Jones, is he going to return? So I'm going to take it on myself to have a guess at these things as we go through. And if there are any changes that need to be made to my predicted 11, as I said, I'll catch up with them later on in the week with you guys. So let's start off with the score prediction as we always do. I'm always nervous going to the Etihad, and this is no different. Throw into the mix the 12:30 kickoff, which often throws up crazy games, the fatigue from both sets of players, and I think that the spectacle in itself won't be what it could have been. I'm not here to moan about us being hard done by or whatever, but the spectacle, the whole game should have been on a little bit later on the Sunday. I know it couldn't be because of the Champions League games, but I don't think we're going to get the best game of football between what are two very good teams. So with that in mind, what I've gone for my score prediction is this. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. And that's an optimistic 1-1 draw for me because there's a big part of me that feels like we could lose by a goal. But I'm going to try and be optimistic. So I'm going to go for a 1-1. But I want to know your thoughts. So let me know in the comment section. Moving on now to the important part, right? The team selection. Some big decisions to be made here. Who plays in midfield? Who's in the number 6 role? Do we keep Costas at left back? Let's see, shall we? We'll start off as we always do with the goalkeeper and the centre backs. What have I gone for here? Well, no real surprises. At least I don't think so. So I've gone for Alisson in goal, obviously. That's a gimme. But in the centre-back positions, I've gone for Joel Matip alongside Virgil van Dijk. And I think we need a calm, reassuring head in this game. And Joel Matip is that. I love Ibu. He's a very top-level central defender. He's got great recovery pace. But he has been a little bit rash in the challenge occasionally. And we know that Manchester City only need a change of direction in the penalty area for their players to go down. So I'm going to go for the more calming and reassured presence of Joel Matip, the partner, Virgil van Dijk. But I'm open to your suggestions, so let me know in the comment section. Now, the fullback positions were one of two areas of the pitch where I really did struggle to come to a decision. Look, right back, that's fairly straightforward. But on the left side, I had to weigh up the Joe Gomez versus Kostas Tsimikas debate. And which way did I go? Well, this is what I've come up with. I am going to go with Trent, of course, at right back. No changes there. But I've gone for Costas at left back. And after much toing and froing, I'm comfortable with that decision. Look, he's suspect defensively in my mind. He is. But I did say something before the international break that I want to try and stand over. I looked at that game between Chelsea and Manchester City, and I looked at how Pochettino set his team up. Now, yes, that was at Stamford Bridge, but I think against Manchester City, attack really is the best form of defence. So that's why I've gone for Costas. I think he gives us more going forward than Joe Gomez would. And I think we need to try and get at Manchester City. So I'm going to say take the reins off and allow him to just attack, because I think that's the best attitude to go against Manchester City. So that's my back four. Alisson in goal, and then Trent at right back, Costas at left back, with Joe Matip alongside Virgil van Dijk. Moving into midfield, we have the obvious debate. Who's going to be in the six? Is it going to be Endo? Are we going to see somebody like Curtis Jones come back in? I don't think so, so this is what I've gone with. I think we will see Alexis McAllister in the six, and then I think we will see Dominic Szoboszlai and Cody Gakpo as the two advanced midfielders. Alexis had a decent score, I think a 6.7 on SofaScore for his game against Brazil, a game that Argentina won by 1-0, haven't been beaten by Uruguay in their other game. So he seems to have played okay. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but going off the scores, he didn't have a stinker. So I'm going to say Jurgen's going to stick to the status quo and put him in the number 6. And ahead, I like the idea of Cody Gakpo being there. I couldn't get him into the front three for obvious reasons, but I do like his link-up play, and I think him and Szoboszlai will be the right decision, again, with attack being the best form of defence in mind. That's the midfield that I've liked. So I've gone for Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai and Cody Gakpo. Now up top in what is probably the easiest of all the decisions that I've had to make this weekend, the wide areas. Who have I gone for? Well, of course, I've gone for Lucho on the left and Mohamed Salah on the right. And I'm hoping for a big game from Lucho here. Obviously, it's been a very difficult period for the Diaz family. It's great to see him reunited with his father. But, of course, his father did make some comments that have annoyed a lot of us. So I'm hoping for a big game on the left from Lucho to just remind us what we have, what quality we do have at the club. And, of course, on the other side, the great man himself, Mohamed Salah, the record breaker, the leader of this attack. And I'm very comfortable with those two selections. So I don't see much pushback from any of you guys, but I'm going for Diaz on the left and Salah on the right. And then through the centre, of course it's Darwin Núñez. It was never not going to be Darwin Núñez. Over this international break, he has kept his goal scoring form. He scored 3 for Uruguay, 1 at the Bombonera against Argentina, and then a brace in their victory over Bolivia last night as well. So Darwin's in good form. And he really does seem to be benefiting from working with Marcelo Bielsa, of course, at international level, and Jurgen Klopp. So you got to give the kid his chance. Normally, I would say that Jurgen might go against the idea of putting Darwin back into the team after a late Tuesday night game in Europe. On our time frame, it was late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Over in Argentina, obviously, or in this case, in Uruguay, different. But he has a lot of travelling to do, as does the likes of Diaz and McAllister. But he's just good at the minute. You can't not play him. You have to give Darwin Núñez the chance. I know this is harsh on Diogo Jota because he's been in great form. And as I keep saying, he's an assassin in the penalty area. But it's a big game. And I think you've got to get your best players out on the pitch, even if perhaps they are a little bit tired. And should we need it, we will have options from the bench. Diogo Jota, of course, being one of those options. So, just to run through it again really quickly, my predicted 11 is this. Alisson Becker in goal, Trent at right back, Costas at left back, Joe Matip alongside Virgil van Dijk in the centre-back positions. Then Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, who of course himself had a very productive and fruitful international break with a worldie of a goal. When he's got a few goals and had a few assists. Then I'm going to go for Cody Gakpo, who is starting to rediscover his form again, and I think more impactful for us in that advanced midfield position. Then Diaz on the left, Salah on the right, and Darwin Núñez through the centre. Over to you now, folks. Let me know your thoughts on the game. I look forward to catching up with you guys again at the weekend for a watch along. It feels like a long time. We'll have more shows coming up throughout the week. If you're watching this early on Wednesday, I'll be live at 8:30 tonight in Anfield Agenda as well. So I hope to see you over there for that one. But yeah, all roads lead to the Etihad. A massive, massive game, potentially a season-defining one, coming up at 12:30 on Saturday. Until then, I will catch up with you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.